Gang, we're back into... Oh, good. Okay, Max has an idea. Good. I like feeling useful. Thanks, Max. Um, we're back to Tyranny, which I'm very interested to continue playing because it's so different than anything I've played before. Um, I do... If I had to make one complaint about this game so far, it's that I wish that you had a little bit more alternatives than the isometric view. Like Neverwinter, you can pan and zoom, and you can actually get like right up on the characters' faces, which I kind of wish you could do a little bit closer detail on them. I guess you get plenty of detail when they're in conversation. You get to see their profiles and their body language and stuff like that. Um, but all the same, it's I feel a little bit far away from them so far. But anyway, um, Battle of Echo Call Crossing. Echo Call Crossing must be taken before Kairos' forces can press their attack on the Vendrians. Well, Citadel. Help the disfavored subdue the rebels and take control of the crossing. Speak with Iron Marshal Erenios. Okay, that's definitely a doer. Scarlet Chorus are currently attempting to secure the outer ring of Vendrian's well. You'll need to help them deal with the rebel forces in the area before Kairos' armies may safely march upon the Citadel. Speak with the Fifth Eye at the Scarlet Chorus camp. We have to find that, which I'm sure we can. Completed the Conqueror's Will. Completed Welcome to Ruin. Forge-bound iron. We're looking for a shipment of iron that went missing somewhere around Echo Call Crossing. Isotanus, blacksmith working in this favored camp, has a suspicion this might have fallen into enemy hands. Oh, gosh, Max, don't get me started. Okay. The premise of Tyranny is you're on a continent where there's already been a battle between good versus evil, and evil has won. They've conquered all of the continent. This evil overlord named Kairos, who we know nothing about, has conquered all of the continent except for this one peninsula. There's this little peninsula that's left, and the people in that peninsula have put up a strong resistance. But you are a fate binder, which means you work for one of the archons, which is basically like the kind of boss level people that work for Kairos. And you are part of the invading force that goes into this peninsula. So when you set up your character, you choose what your character did in the campaign to conquer the peninsula. So basically, almost the entire peninsula has been conquered. There's a few holdouts. There's this one group here in Vendrian's Well, which is an area that we live or that we're playing in. That's called the Oathbreakers, and we're pissed at them because they swore that they would surrender, and then as soon as our backs were turned, they started a rebellion or an insurgency back up. So there are two archons, two bosses, two generals, that each have their own army that have been tasked by Kairos, the overlord, the evil overlord, with quashing this rebellion and finally conquering the island. One is the disfavored, led by a kind of honorable warrior type, and the other is the Sacred Chorus, led by kind of a more sneaky, sinister type. They're both evil. Everybody's evil in this game. We're evil. So we've been sent by Kairos to basically whip these two armies and their two leaders into shape, and we're giving them 8 days to finish this off, or we'll read what's called an edict of Kairos, which is basically like a magic pronouncement that we make that will level the entire area and kill everybody in it, including ourselves, unless this is taken care of. So we're evil, which is... I'm looking at the chat. I should be looking here. We're evil, which is fun. And we've already done some pretty evil stuff. We have... our character's name is Violen the Fourth, which was suggested to us by an amalgamation of all the suggestions of the people in the chat the evening that we first started this game. We're a javelin-throwing diplomat who serves in Kairos' army. We have with us Verse. She's a fighter. Shit, I can't remember what her title is. I don't remember. Anyway, she's from the Sacred Chorus. She's from one of the evil armies here. Oh, and we can talk to her, apparently. How did you do that, says Verse. Verse looks at you with a quizzical quizzical expression. Do what? Back in the Archon's war tent, you cast an edict as casually as reading a supply shipment. How did you do that? Well, I've done it before. I don't know why I didn't realize it earlier. You proclaimed the Edict of Stone in Azure. It blighted the entire realm, all to destroy the rebellious Archon. I can't believe that was you. That was me, all right. Well, call me impressed. Considering that you've read the words of Kairos more than once, I'm surprised that you're even alive to tell of it. Your vocal cords should have turned to ash by now. I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. It's just worth recognizing that what you've done. Not only are you Tunan's Fatebinder, Tunan's my boss, you're the mouthpiece of the Overlord. It gives me plenty of reason to stick around. You're going places, and I want to see where they lead. If you say so, I have some questions for you. Do I?
What do you need?
Nah, let's talk again later. Good rest, we don't need to. 8 days. Yeah, 8 days till Kairos' Day of Swords. Large copper pot. Fragrant spices attempt to mask the potent spell of whatever creature they something overcooked. Where is this? We're supposed to talk to her lieutenant, not her. What the hell is his name? Yeah, here we go. Iron Marshal Aranyos. That's what I'm trying to say. Iron Marshal Aranyos says, "Don't just coddle the impact. Push back with your shield. Take the momentum." Iron Marshal Aranyos, field commander of the Disfavored, pounds her fist in the air as she calls out to the warriors on the training field. "I set eyes on your opponent's waistline. If you spend more than a glance checking his footwork, you've lost." The Disfavored officer turns to you, adjusting her pale golden surcoat. Judging her from her uniform, this is the Iron Marshal Aranyos, first among equals in the Iron Guard, Graven Ash's inner circle of trusted followers, charged with being the duties of leadership, logistics, and training. That's a weird way to phrase that sentence. There is rarely a quiet day for the second in command of the Disfavored Legion. She clears her throat. Need to stay on top of the troops and their skills will rust. It's for their own good, even if they don't believe it. Are your warriors reacting to the edict? Or it was mentioned you were short on warriors and need help. What's the situation? How are your warriors reacting to the edict that I read? Pretty powerful edict, right? Iron Marshal Aranyos says, Kairos' ultimatum has the camp on edge, some with dread, but most are rife with anticipation. Look at that point. Bam! I love how they point in this game. It's great. She points to the men sparring in the field. We have a lot of brothers and sisters to avenge, and the warriors are eager to take out some aggression. I, for one, choose to see the edict as a blessing, for it forces the generals to act, and we're long overdue. 20 hours. Really? Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see, at 90 minutes per, that's, what is that? What's 20 divided by 1.5? Shit, I should know that. 12 something? 13 something? 13 streams? 13 weeks, roughly? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm embarrassing myself. It was mentioned you're short on warriors and help. What's the situation? She says, I think it's a she. I have brigades amassing along Placid, Echo-Call, and Little Tooth crossings. The Vendrian Guard may be able to hold one bridge, but they cannot hold against a concerted three-prong attack. I have no right to give you orders, but... Her words falter, a short cough breaking her flow. But we all die to Kairos' edict should we fail, so I'm not about to let my pride blind me to the value of good help. This is the second major attack on the river? Do I know that? How do I know that? What's the value of taking the crossing? Let's ask that. We can't just march from here to the Citadel with the Vendrian Guard manning the riverbanks. Fording troops and supplies through even the narrowest points of the river makes us vulnerable to attack, especially since our armor wasn't built for swimming. She points north. Man, whenever somebody points in this game, they're just like, bam, that way. I love it. I love the authority and the pointing. That's fascism for you. Maybe that's why fascism appeals to everybody. Smart uniforms, fancy marching, and pointing. Something about that speaks to the lizard brain in us, I'm sure. We all want a pointing daddy. That's what we want. Right. Okay. She points north. Bam! To the mountain spire looming on the horizon. Welcome back, Walter. We're just getting into... Oh, shit. Did I didn't update the game, did I? Hang on. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. There we go. Got it. Pointing daddy that isn't racist. That's a tough eye to thread, you know? The authority that comes with an impressive point also usually comes with a very strong sense of otherness that you're blaming for all your problems. I feel like the two go hand in hand. If we can take the river, we have a clear march to the Citadel, and Ascension Hall will be ours in no time. And Ascension Hall is what? The name of the inner sanctum of the old citadel built at the geographical center of Vendrian's Well. It was here that the Vendrian Guard signed the surrender of 429 that they are now breaking. Right. I don't know that anything about this being the second major attack, so let's not... Oh, wait. Unless the iron shipment that's missing was lost in the first attack. Maybe I know that? Ernio says, defeat in detail. Yes. Spank some safe words. Isn't that would be a hell of a safe word. I'm just imagining like a Tinder date or like an OkCupid or something like that. Where you're like, hey, so what are you into? Oh, I'm into this. Like, oh, dude, well, we don't have to like sit here. Let's go back to your place. We can do it right now. Like, okay, but I've got a safe word. Oh, what's your safe word? My safe word's the N-word. I'm out of here. This date's over. No, it's alright. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. I've posted so many. I'm fortunate in that there are so few people that watch my videos on YouTube that there's no problem here. Spanks and safe words. Man, okay. Defeat in detail. So, defeat... If I'm trying to remember, because I learned all this shit way back when I played Total War, Rome Total War. That's when I learned about detail, enfilade. There's a few other military terms that I learned because I was playing the game and like trying to figure out how to work out tactics in a given battle, which it was actually very educational in that regard. I want to say that defeat, it like fighting in detail meant small groups engaging the enemy separately, right? Is that what that is? Not your entire army fighting the enemy at once, but little detachments fighting here and there. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm just remembering the education that I got when I played Rome Total War. Apparently none of it stuck. Anyway, defeat in detail. We carved a bloody path up to the river, but at that point, everyone who charged ahead was lost. We had no chorus backup. It was just a few disfavored squads. I can't tell you exactly how they were defeated, but we lost the whole assault team. She shakes her head, letting out a long, pained sigh. We found bodies washing up in the river for days. It's not often the Tearsmen put up such a good fight. It certainly made us reevaluate the number we'll need to take this valley. First says, really? Are you sure our scouts didn't give you all sorts of details about, the enemy, and you just choose to disregard our warnings that she's in the Scarlet Chorus? So she's skeptical of the disfavored's account. Ernio says, "Well, I'm sure the disfavored would have heeded any such advice. We can pass the blame after the war. Only the Oathbreakers matter now. Sounds like your lack of caution is to blame, not the scar. Let's just play the middle ground here. The Oathbreakers are all that count. Iron Marshal Aranios. Quite right. Getting our emotions into the mix won't hasten this campaign. Very well, Iron Marshal Aranios, I will assist. Oh, she's doing this. Yes. I couldn't tell where her hand... I thought she was face-palming there for a second. Then our plan might just work. The Iron Marshal lifts her gauntlet close to her face, shifting her eyes from you to the metal articulations. What? What are the metal articulations? We are loath to work with those who do not share our training and our values, but we know that Tunon the Adjudicator selects only the most capable minds for his court. I trust you will honor us all on the field. So forceful. I can't help but admire it. Antio will be leading the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barrack of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier standing sentry at the edge of the training field. Before you ask, no, the Forge-bound weren't sloshed on Dappleseed when they fitted his armor. He survived the full force of the Edict of Storms. And this armor doesn't exactly come off. Tactically, it's quite brilliant, but otherwise, it's something of a curse. Wait, what? Forge-bound. Mage Smiths. Okay, yep, got that. Edict of Storms. What was the Edict of Storms? That wasn't one that I read, was it? I thought that was... mine was the Edict to stop the stone dude. Was mine the Edict of Storms? I don't remember. Anyway, apparently this guy's had his armor melted to his body. That's pretty badass. Tapping her helmet twice, Aranios signals to the hulking presence. Barrack, come meet the Fatebinder. Oh, yeah. Oh, can you see him? See him there? Dude looks pretty freaking badass. He looks like a mummy knight guy. The soldier that steps up to you better resembles an amalgamation of rusted blades and mismatched pieces of armor fused into a vaguely human shape. He reeks of sweat, feces, and whatever oil treatment keeps him flexible. Oh my god, this man is awful. Definitely not Barrack Obama.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive.
He has a voice.
And I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
That guy's voice is way too nice to smell like feces. Sorry. Should have hired Tom Waits or something. Come on. An honor, Barrack.
Likewise, good binder.
The soldier heaves a heavy iron arm into a salute. His whole body clanging as he wraps his gauntlet against the twisted sheets of metal that form his breastplate.
Barrack, is that you
Gary
under
Busey.
there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well.
Verse knows him.
Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
Just a minute, you two know each other?
No. Oh, that is to say, yes. I'm already as familiar with this ironclad halfwit as I care to be.
She regards Barrack with a mixed look.
We don't have time to trade jabs today, Verse. After the siege, you can throw as many tantrums as you please. I suggest that we remain focused on the mission.
This poor guy. He's fused into his suit of armor and he smells like sweat and poop. I can only imagine what that would do to my psyche.
No offense to the mission, but seeing you looking like a garbage heap and reeking of a mass grave is more amusing by far. Did you forget how to don your armor, or did Graven Ash leave you out in the rain?
He's one of Graven Ashes. Barrack sighs, a frustrated growl shaking his iron enclosure of his suit. Oh, he's facepalming, look. You know what? It just occurred to me. Perhaps I'm taking up too much space in this, this window. Hang on one second. Let me just reduce my size a little bit. How about that? There we go. Oh, shit. Sorry. That's probably better. It was perhaps ego that led me to keep my head that big. You know what? I haven't been acquainted with Barrack, the shit-stained.
It's challenging enough to experience battle from a courtroom, much less remember the faces of your cohorts. I wouldn't expect you to know me under these accursed blades of rust.
He bangs on his malformed chest armor for emphasis. Damn, that's a burn on Matt Damon. I never saw that movie. Was it any good? Iron Marshal Aranios says, the Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. I figured an extra hand might help. And more importantly... Wait, does she have purple flames coming out of her epaulets there? That's pretty cool. More importantly, if my worries come true, and the chorus tries to impede the mission, we will have an observer from the court on our side.
Better to work with the Honorable Binder than some chorus children.
He nods to you, his armor creaking as he bends his neck. This guy sounds miserable. Premise terrible. Yeah, it seems like it should be, right? Iron Marshal Aranios says, I asked that Barrick accompany you there to arbitrate the cooperation between his company and the Scarlet Chorus. Okay, that's fair. Echo Call Crossing is now unlocked on the world map. Iron Marshal Aranios says, Barrick, you've been without a cohort since the last Battle of Stalwart. It's time we gave you a task more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks in clipped official terms. Ash has assigned you to the Fatebinder service. You're to assume this task is ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean the swiftly approaching end of this war, or when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Alexander Payne. What else has he done? What else has he done, Walter? I don't know if I've ever seen a movie of Alexander Payne's. Barrick regards the Iron Marshal in impressive silence. Iron Marshal Aranios says, That's an order, Barrick. She shakes her head and sighs, returning her focus to you. He can be as stubborn as pulling a spire out of the earth, but he's a good soldier. I hope you don't mind the company. I'm honored to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. Let's just be diplomatic here. I think the only movie in that list I've seen is Sideways, which I thought was fine. I don't remember feeling strong feelings about it other than that it was fine. I have not seen the other ones, though. I've always heard Election was good, but I've never seen it. Iron Marshal Aranios says, Excellent, I look forward to your success in the field. My God, what a long conversation that was. Barrick, my man, let's see, what do we do with you? Character sheet. Dude, this is creepy. We got a dude stuck inside of a suit of armor. That's weird. I remember thinking that Sideways was really good until until the end. When it ended, I didn't expect it to end, and then it ended. I was like, what? Oh, okay. I thought there was going to be more. So maybe I would have, you know what? Last time I watched it, I was in my early 20s. So if I watched it again now, maybe I'd enjoy it more. I don't know. There's a few movies like that where you watch them at a certain age and you're like, I don't get it. And then you watch it again a few years later, like, that describes my experience perfectly. Get Shorty was like that for me. I watched Get Shorty when I was 16 or 17, and I thought, okay, there were some funny parts, but I didn't get it. And then I watched it again when I was in my early 30s. So I was like, holy shit, this movie's fantastic. Get Shorty is so good. He's leveled up. Yeah. All right, what do we got? Edict of Execution. The Overlord has decreed that all in the Valiant... Yeah, we know that. One resolve. Good. 1 point to put toward attributes. Resolve, vitality, excuse me, finesse, wits, quickness, and might. Oh shit, I don't have the hiccups, do I? I hope not. What are you fighting with, dude? one-handed weapons? Where's the show me? There we go. Iron sword. Sword and shield. I'm imagining, given the armor this guy's on him, got on him, and it's locked on him. I'm imagining this guy's going to be my tank, right? In which case I might want him to have two-handed weapons on him. One-handed weapons. Might and finesse. Okay, let's just go with that for now. Might. We have 1 point to play with here, huh? Barrack becomes an intimidating force in the battlefield. Enemies near Barrack have their resolve reduced. Ooh. Requires 1 talent point spent in Punisher tree, which must be this one, huh? Oh, anything in this tree. Sentinel. I feel like I have, yeah, I was going to say my character has much, much more. Agility, range, magic, power. Agility, range, magic, power. Leadership, even. And defense. Good grief, there's a bunch. Verse has only 2, Barrack has only 2. Okay, so the player character has a bunch. These two have fewer to worry about. Barrack! Dude, that's canon now. This is the personification of my dire bear companion from Neverwinter Nights. Okay, so there's draw aggro. The only other option we can choose right now is fierce demeanor. Reducing the resolve. Let's see what follows. Barrack gains a large boost to movement speed. Barrack will attack twice with his normal strikes for a short time. Allows Barrack to engage an additional enemy. Ooh, that's handy. Fight defensively, gaining a bonus to armor. Attack enemies as they engage. Increases one-handed and two-handed melee weapon damage. I think I'm going to go with this. Okay. Oh, right. And the journal updated. Yeah. To the outer courses camp. Okay. All right. The whole group then. How do I select? Whoop. Shit. No. Backspace? Backspace selects the whole group. Good. Oh my god. Are you going to be that slow all the time? Wait, what did I do? What did I do? I accidentally turned on stealth for you. That's why he was
Will do.
Phew! I was like, oh my god, dude, does your armor weigh that much? You're going to kill me. Oh, I was not going to put up with that shit. Hey, we got in. Okay. Now what can we do with you? Fatebinder Violin the Fourth, am I right? I'm Sevius, commander in 3rd generation. Disfavored. Oh, sorry. Yeah, disfavored. Specifically, I'm Sevius the Younger. Some folks can't keep track. The rank says commander, but lately I'm just organizing patrols and trying to stay out of the way. You should talk to Iron Marshal if you something official that needs discussing. What is it you need? I overheard you asking that Earthshaker where the reinforcements have gone. Is there a problem? Why do you think the siege has delayed for so long? Given that we got 8 days, let's figure out what the fuck the delay is. Disfavored, favor 1. It should have been over real quick and simple. The first cohort arrived in the valley and went right for the kill, but that was before we knew the Vendrian Guard had sages and that water witch on their side. Water witch. It's the first time we heard that. A bigger problem is the Scarlet Chorus. They eagerly conscript the Vendrian Guard, but I have no proof of this, but it seems they do very little to keep a watchful eye on these drafted tiersmen. They are often sent out on patrol, and we suspect they use that opportunity to escape back to the Vendrian Guard. Verse says, every chorus conscript has a choice. Life under Kairos or death under the army's boots. By all means, feel free to cut down those who choose the latter. We won't be offended. Sevius says, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Just so we don't mistake each other, I know what I'm saying carries an implication of treachery. I'm not making a formal accusation before a Tunon agent, just voicing my gut opinion on the matter. Two armies haven't worked well together in years. Why do you think that is? Come on, Binder. Seems like asking why beasts stink. The disfavored are only too eager to deliver Kairos' peace to the tiers, while the Scarlet Chorus bring only mayhem in their wake. You can tell me the Voices of Nerat has a plan, and I'll take your word for it. But the Chorus sure seems to blunder around, never moving with purpose as we do. Is that the hand gesture there? I can't even tell. Verse says, I wonder if we've been fighting the same war, soldier. I've seen Ash yank his precious soldiers away from more battles than he's won. If you want to call that progress, be my guest. Sivia says, unless we find a way to work as one, I fear that the Scarlet Chorus will step in front of Graven Ash's strategies at every turn. As far as I'm concerned, it seems like the Voices of Nerat is here to amuse himself, while the rest of us are here to do our job. Tell me about yourself, Sevius. Not much to tell. My father was Sevius the Elder. His father was Sevius the First of his name, lead drillmaster of Ash's first Iron Guard, back when they were the Bronze Guard. I was born into the Legion, and with any hope, I'll die in the Legion. The rest you will hopefully hear about when the storytellers immortalize me. Lore of 35. Before he bent the knee to Kairos, Graven Ash rallied his legions against the Overlord's authority. His prowess on the battlefield ingratiated him to the Archons, who welcomed him into their ranks in exchange for his obedience. He was in the Bronze Guard, then, so your family must have been with Ash since before he was with Kairos. Ooh. Aye, you know your history. Sevius nods with gusto. The blood goes back that far, not the memories, as I only ever knew my father. My grandfather was just a legend, one of Ash's best warriors back before the disfavored were reforged in iron. He shrugs. I'm proud of my heritage, but I try not to brag. There are folks who love the Legion every bit as much as I do, but they lack the same pedigree. Verse says, speaking of heritage, how is your family looking these days, Barrack? Are they still the pride of the North? Or have they debased themselves in some unspeakable manner? She knows something about Barrack that we don't. Barrack says, speak not of my family verse or of honor. You have no right. She chuckles. Don't I? Very well. Go about your ignorant way, you dumb ironclad. I'll say no more. Sevius is like, what's going on? Sorry. The disfavored soldier observes the exchange with interest and aims an unspoken question at Barrack before shrugging. Glad to see you have your own identity outside of the Legion. Yeah, that seems the finest. Gained wrath? What? Okay, fine. Failing to... I thought that was going to be helpful to the disfavored, but sure. Failing to conceal a smile, Verse chuckles to herself. Sevius coughs stoically, but says nothing. Bronze Guard? Well, his day and age was a century ago, and they didn't have Kairos' modern luxuries like iron. So back then, the great general's inner circle was known as the Bronze Guard. Back to my other question. I don't care. Of course, tell me what you need. I overheard you asking that Earthshaker, which I think is that guy? I don't remember. Where their reinforcements have gone. Is there a problem? I'm afraid so. Radix, who's Vegeta's brother, the head of the Earthshakers, was supposed to arrive with a group of his most competent spellslingers to help break the stalemate. I don't know what's holding up their arrival, and that worries me. If you were at all inclined to lend a hand, we could use some arcane support on our side. I could lend a hand, I suppose. Could you? I knew that Tunan's agent wouldn't fail us in a time of need. I'll mark the last known site of our Earthshaker reinforcements on your map. Good hunting, Fatebinder. Farewell. Whatever that was. I think we've explored the rest of the camp. Can't wait to get out of this camp. Back again, says Bitterquip, looking you up and down, his face unamused. Have you so little to do besides standing around the disfavored camp? It's like working with the disfavored. He scoffs, looking away from you for a moment before sniffing and returning his attention to you. Reporting to the Iron Hag is an insult. She fought one duel for her title. One? Her leadership must be continuously proven, earned, and defended. Weakness should bleed to the bottom of the army, not rise to the top. My assignment here is also an insult, but one I will bear for the good of the chorus. Bitterquip sniffs the air, smiling with one side of his mouth. If only to see with my own eyes the failure of the disfavored. That will be a fine day. Bitterquip nods as you depart. Well, I think there's not else waiting for us here. Who is that dude? Earthshaker. Can we talk to him? We can't. We can only follow and hope to understand. Who are you? How does he drop anchor if he can't take his armor off? Who, Barrack? Oh, drop anchor meaning... Haha! Keep yourself thoughts to yourself, Chorus Maggot. Drop anchor meaning take a shit, I guess. Well, let's see what our next destination to be. We've got Echo Call Crossing, we've got the Scarlet Course Camp, and the Northern Clearing. Scarlet Course have taken residence within the decayed walls of an old fortress. It's currently the base of operations for the Voices of Nerat's campaign in the valley. 1 hour and 45 minutes. Echo Call Crossing. Mafala! Hello, welcome, and thank you very much for the stream. It goes well. We are in the midst of Tyranny here, and we're deciding on our next location after the disfavored camp. Echo Call Crossing is a village situated along one of the narrow sections of the Matani River. It is the main route into the heart of the valley and possesses 2 highly defensible bridges. Many settlers in the area are believed to be... Oh, God damn it. Registry First Aid is trying to tell me I need to take care of something. Never mind. And possesses 2 highly defensible bridges. Many settlers in the area are believed to be directly assisting the rebel effort. Northern Clearing. Apex's forests give way to rockier terrain as one approaches the eastern mountains. Disfavored Earthshakers reportedly traveled to this location and may still be present. Scarlet Course Camp first, I think. 1 hour and 45 minutes to complete your journey. Yes, let's do it. Whoa! Ambush! Your path is blocked by a small group of Vendrian guard. You can go no farther until you deal with them. Very well. Yes. Let's. Uh-oh.
That's far enough, Fatebinder.
Woman's voice booms from atop a nearby outcropping. Flashes of aquamarine body paint. Blue body pigment, bladed staff, and complex braided attire are the traditional trappings of the School of Tides. According to Fatebinder Rogalis, a name I've never heard before, the majority of the school fled before the coming of Kairos. The remainder were last seen during the first campaign in Vendrian's Well. The School of Tides traditionally studies the magic of water and grave light, the art of directing the moon's arcane light into baleful searing energy. Flashes of aquamarine body paint peek out from under her loose-fitting traveler's garb, and her outfit is festooned in braids and knots of sailor's line. This game requires a lot of talking, realizing. Flanked on either side by warriors dressed in Vendrian Guard regalia, the woman leans on an elaborate bladed staff pulsing with arcane energy. A swath of blue fabric rests draped over her arm. The blue flag is a symbol of diplomacy and truce recognized across most of the known world. It is a custom the Tearsmen hold dear. To harm another person under the auspices of a blue flag is a grave offense in both the Tears and in Kairos' empire. The customary punishment is death. Mafala, hail! Salute, as the case may be in this game.
In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I offer and request a delay of blade. There are matters we must discuss without fear of reprisal.
The woman bows deeply, lowering her head in a practiced display of etiquette. The warriors by her remain in a ready stance, their nerves clearly on edge. I am surprised. I expected an ambush. But she wishes to parley. I'll abide by this truth, sure.
As is our custom,
Let's see
we
where
are
this
ready
goes.
to kill to defend our lands. But we kill only in fair battle. We don't slay our prisoners. We know this isn't Kairos' way, but we must have hope.
See.
A few of my kin have gone missing, and though they may have perished, I have to inquire on the off chance they still live. If Captain Tarkus Deimos still lives, we would negotiate for his release.
Recall that name as belonging to one of the Vendrian Guard leaders to have assaulted Edgering Ruins, though you have no recollection as to his exact fate. I don't think I'm going to lie right away, though I reserve that right if it seems most efficient. Let's just play coy. Assuming he's our prisoner, what would you offer in exchange?
We would offer you 5 choirmen that got lost on patrol. They're healthy, got other limbs too.
I would not have us barter with oathbreakers. Certainly not for anything less than disfavored lives.
Yeah, we know how you feel, shitcan.
You say there's something worth less than a disfavored life. Call me intrigued. Okay. So here's, like, my natural inclination would be, yeah, you know what, that name means something to me, but I can't recall his situation. But because I'm a bad guy, bad lady, I don't have that option. I either lie, or I tell her I won't negotiate, or the name means nothing to me, or I attack her. I don't remember what happened to him. Glare silently. It's fun, isn't it? You can just smolder at them. I imagine it's kind of like a meaner version of Zoolander's Blue Steel. You know, that kind of thing. The name doesn't mean nothing to me, so that would be a lie, even though it isn't listing it as a lie. Attack? You know what? That does seem like the role play reaction. You're wasting my time.
So much for words.
Ooh, shit.
Slay this cantankerous twat.
Holy shit, lady. Alright, apparently we're going by the UK system of female genitalia slang. Jesus Christ. The woman pounds her staff on to the ground with one hand while furiously signing magical gestures with the other. Uh-oh. A heavy mist spills forth from her hand. The translucent fog quickly thickens into an opaque wall. The Vendrian Guard warriors burst forth from the mist, weapons drawn. But the Tidecaster is nowhere to be seen. What have you done to me, Revamp? Yeah, no kidding, Max. Oh!
Heads up!
Wait! Hang on a second. She had 2 warriors with her. And she's like, Ooh, giant spell! Kablam! And then when the spell was done, it was just 2 warriors without her. That was her spell? Her spell was just... I get away? Barrack, what have you got, dude? What can you do? Striking Iron. Strike a single enemy, dealing significantly increased damage if the target is engaging Barrack. 200% damage if engaged by target enemy, excuse me. Iron Tolling. This is a combo. Excuse me. Barrack and the Fatebinder both bang on their shields and armor, harassing an enemy. Their target is compelled to attack Barrack for a short time, while the Fatebinder's mocking gestures leave the enemy confused and off guard. The foe loses all ability to parry and dodge until they recover their senses. Or Clash of Iron. Issue a mocking invitation, challenging enemies to attack Barrack. Well, Barrack, why don't you do that to that lady or person? I shall cast Runaway. I'm out of here. Silk Stone, Burning Iron. You know what? You just do your thing, Verse. I feel like you can kick some ass here. Titan's Touch on Barrack, please.
We have company.
Damn! 24. That's a lot. Okay. Now you attack her.
Are you afraid of death, worm?
Ow! 23. I leveled, apparently.
I'm not dead yet.
God damn, I can't take too much more of that. Holy shit. Let's do Iron Tolling on somebody. Jesus. This is a team up one, right? Oh, shit, they're dead. Okay, fine. Leveled up. Okay. Alright, we leveled up, we leveled up, we leveled up. Let's take care of that. 1 point. Alright, hang on. Let me think about this. So Javelin counts as one-handed. Got our magic staff. Level up bonus. Does that apply until we use the points and then it's gone? More accuracy would be nice, but then at the same time, I'm also technically half mage too. So that would be wits and finesse. You know what? Finesse. Sure. Let's do finesse. Helps both the offensive side and the mage side. We have 1 point to use here. Requires level 3 for leadership, so no point in bothering. Defensive benefit from shields. Thrust interrupts the target. Slam your shield against a target, dazing them. Sweeping cone attack that hits multiple nearby enemies. Focus strike adds armor penetration to the thrust ability, increases its accuracy. Palm strike. Perform powerful palm strike to the target's chest, interrupting them, pushing them back, and silencing them from spellcasting. Ooh. That seems quite potent. Double attack. Feint. Move faster. Hobble. Escape. Poison dart. Save distance. Heart shot. Piercing throw. My God, there's so many options. It's kind of overwhelming. Well, we already have thrust, but that's a melee attack, not a ranged attack. And I think we're going to be using ranged mostly. I don't know. But I think so. Target your enemy's view with a ranged attack. Yeah, okay. Hobble, I think, makes the most sense. Maybe. Well, that would make sense too. Oh my gosh, so hard to choose. Tempted by that one, but I'm thinking either that, or that. I'm gonna go with Hobble. Hobble it is. Lots of options. I know, it's a little daunting. I feel like I need to spend time researching it, which is a little worrisome because I don't want to do that in front of you guys in the stream. That's just ridiculous. Will of Kairos, new missive. Violin the Fourth. Word has reached this court that you have issued the Overlord's edict to the Archons of War and Secrets. Know that we understand fully the weight of this burden and appreciate the loyalty you show in its declaration. Provided you survive this span, your service will be duly recognized. As you navigate the idiosyncrasies and mutual antipathy of our Overlord's War Masters, remember that Kairos watches all with interest. Those who distinguish themselves, whether Fatebinder or Archon, have the opportunity to rise in the Overlord's esteem. Even now, the Northern Courts whisper that the more successful of the two Archons will be granted rule over the whole of the peninsula. Similarly, your fortunes rest upon the decisions you make. Choose wisely. Thank him for the advice. Archon Tunon, allow me to express my deep appreciation for this opportunity. Few in the Empire have the honor of treating with the Archons, and fewer still of reading the empowered words of the Overlord. I endeavor always to emulate your exemplary foresight and judgment. I remain in all things your faithful servant, Fatebinder Violin the Fourth. God! Fascism is awful, isn't it? It's just so placating and pathetic. Ooh, hang on. Grasslands of the Tiers stretch for throughout the land. Far throughout the land. Okay, Revamp, you are in Europe, so no one blames you. Have a good night, and we will see you soon, hopefully. Grasslands of the Tiers stretch far throughout the land. Much of it remains uninhabited and unclaimed by any faction. Hope all continues well for you, and hope to see you next week, Revamp. Vagrant's Chaw. Blood Moss. No loot for the kill there, huh? I guess this was just a random encounter, so there's probably not much else here. We can just exit. Let's continue on to the Scarlet Course camp. And we're there. I think. Whoa, wait, what? Spells are created from both core and expression sigils. Core sigils determine the type of magic, fire, healing, etc., while expression sigils determine the shape, touch, aura, bolt, etc. Grain. Rotting body bearing scarlet coarse war paint is skewered upon a wooden pike. Jesus. Take another step, I'll pin your foot to the dirt. What? Talking to me? Quiet Shiv says, it proves everything. The warrior slams her fists together in a resounding clap. Like, for instance, whether you are fit to lead that flock of children. Behind her, the members of her gang posture with weapons held at the ready. Shivershank says, did you not hear the news of the edict? This is a foolish distraction. We ought to be saving our fight for the enemy. Chorus warrior looks to his gang, giving them a quick nod. What's the problem here? Quiet Shiv says, no problem here, Madam Binder. She tosses her blade in the air, catching it with a smile on the way down. Captain Fuckwit here seems he's about to balk from this challenge. Thinks just because he used to run a ship, he's qualified to run a gang. She spits on the ground, looking up with a scowl. So I'm calling him out, because the way I see it, his warriors ought to follow me, not this new blood. Shivershank points. Bam! Captain Fuckwit was my father. Fuckwit will do just fine. It's quite good. The warrior points at the opposing gang. If we have to prove our strength, we'll do so happily. But I'll have your hands and feet removed, and the rest of you kept for my own use. We are the adjudicator of Tunon, right? So I think we'd let them fight this out. We've gained favor with the Scarlet Chorus. The soldier offers a quick, solemn nod. Quiet Shiv says, come, who of you will be the first to meet my blade? The gang leader tosses her knife from one hand to the next. I'm just watching. I'm not doing anything. Who wins? It's somebody we can't talk to. What? I thought there'd be a solution to that, no? Dang, okay. Scarlet Notebook. A red spiral is carved upon the wooden cover of this papyrus notebook. The handwriting within is haphazard and inscrutable, the work of an unpracticed, poorly trained wordcaster. Few entries contain recognizable sentences, and the book appears to be the journal of a Scarlet Chorus commander detailing troop movements. Times and locations are noted alongside numbers and pictures of trees, stick figures, and rocks. The author either didn't know the words for lumber or people, or just felt more comfortable with pictures than words. While much of the journal is inscrutable, the corner of every page has the day's head count for the author's brigade. While some days note dozens of losses, the brigade appears to be recruiting far faster than its members are dying or deserting. Take all, then. Sure. What? I thought for sure there'd be like a conversation there at the end, but there's not. You just watch them kill each other, and then that's the end of that. Okie doke.
It's all in the reflexes.
All right. Let's go in, shall we? Well, wait. Let's check out this other side here first. Find out what the story is. What do these things mean? Ah, right. Okay, these are buffs. Or possibly debuffs, I suppose, if we had them. The soldier nods at you. The guard places her hands by her belt as you approach, gripping the hilt of a blade. Past this point is chorus territory, and you don't look like someone's conscript. You sure you're in the right place? I am Violin the Fourth, Fatebinder of Tunon. I'm here to help vanquish the Oathbreakers. You know, I think I was told to expect somebody, but you seem too ugly to be her. Oh my god. Her lips crumple into a smirk. Why exactly should I let you in? Can we kill this lady? I'd like to kill this lady. And more importantly, what's this hulking ton of iron doing here? The guard gestures at Barrick with a sneer. This calls for ooh, wait. Step in close and push her down. Yeah. Before she can draw her blade, you advance. Place your foot behind hers and give her a stiff shove on the shoulder. Caught off balance, she tumbles backwards, triggering an outburst of laughter in the other guard. I can't believe you sassed the Fatebinder. You're such a stupid ponce. Didn't I tell you we had a special guest coming? The guard waves you in with a smile. Come on in and don't let the ninny shitters in camp give you any guff. Sure, ninny shitters. That's what I was going to call them. Fifth Eye. The binder of Tunon arrives. Squealing with teenager's timber, the Fifth Eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim. It is very different indeed. And we just finished having a bit of sport with some captives, but worry not, we'll have more fun with another batch momentarily. Dressed in the bronze-red regalia of the Crimson Spears, the Fifth Eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-splattered glove. Crimson Spears are the personal gang of the Voices of Nerat. These top enforcers of the chorus answer only to the Archon of Secrets, and all gang members must follow their orders as if they were the words of the Archon of Secrets himself. In contrast to the poorly equipped mobs they command, the Crimson Spears are armed with fine bronze and rigorous training, and their skills are regularly tested by rivals for their status. In the Scarlet Chorus, even the top gang leaders must be ready to prove their strength if they wish to lead. Sounds like the orcs in Shadow of Mordor. The Fifth Eye says, now that you have issued this edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out of this hole? Chirps of laughter emanate from under his mask. Yeah, I'm going to push back. Not here to follow your every order, but we all need to work together to stop this edict. Fifth Eye says, oh, but of course, you are Tunon's concubine, not mine. Hey! Concubine. Back off, buddy. I envy your long leash and hope you will grace us with your prowess, if only to set an example for the rabble. We know the Oathbreakers are focused in the citadel beneath the mountain spire, but we have learned this is not their only nest. The Fifth Eye wags a hand in the air with a high-pitched squeal of displeasure. Jezza! Welcome, my friend. How are you? I, for my part, have perhaps had too much noble oak. Whew. Good. Glad to hear you're doing okay. What's the global virus situation like in your neck of the woods? The Fifth Eye wags a hand in the air with a high-pitched squeal of displeasure. Given their pattern of attacks, they must have a second group maintaining camp here in the Outer Valley. Unless we deal with this second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river. Does Favored think you can't control your horde and that many are defecting back to the Vendrian Guard? Yes, let's give them some shit. Wrong! And perhaps... He gestures with his spear in an arc toward the sprawling camp. It is no mean feat to herd this many desperate lives. For every 2 hands of humanity, there is at least 1 finger that snaps from the stress of our ways. A few have been lost on the margins, I won't deny that. But if you store grain, expect some rat feces. If you lead killers, expect some desertion. Sounds like you need help taking out these Oathbreakers. The Fifth Eye says, and while a good old-fashioned slaughter would be an efficient solution, the smarter answer is not to kill them, but to add their strength to ours. My last group of scouts returned with a new batch of prisoners, and one of these prisoners claims she can lead us to the Vendrian Guard's secondary camp, though there are shreds of deception in her voice. Really? 100, huh? Have you had... do you have a number on how many cases there have been in New Zealand? I'm just curious. Because 100 is a very high number for for congregations, at least compared to what we have in the United States. Here in my area of the United States, we've been told 10 or fewer. 28. Wow, okay. Well, I will say, I feel like the more aggressive a government is on the front end, the less they have to deal with later. Like, I feel like, so I'm in Minnesota, right, in the United States. We've got somewhere between 50 and 100 cases right now. And I feel like if 3 weeks ago we would have said, everybody shut down. Everything shuts down. Nobody moves. We might have been better off than we are today. I feel like overreaction is what's called for. Even if everybody else is like, this is going to ruin the economy. It's like, yeah, but you know what? This is going to save us a lot of trouble further down the road. I don't know. That's my impression anyway. Right. There's deception in her voice. I could use your help questioning this Varia Kel. Perhaps you will get less screams and tears and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try and take their captain and show him the wisdom of joining the chorus. Yeah, why wouldn't the Archon of Secrets do this? Ooh. An unintelligible mutter escapes from under the fifth eye's mask as his posture stiffens. I do not tell the voices of Nerat what to do, nor do I question his motives. The Archon is busy plotting the efficient destruction of these Oathbreakers, and is not to be disturbed. Verse says, I've known the Archon to demand personal interrogations, but it's only ever been with leaders, mages, or others of great merit. I've often imagined the interrogation process is not to be taken lightly. Perhaps it's downright exhausting for Nerat. Very well, I will speak with the prisoner. I will meet you there. She is waiting by the other prisoners. I feel like I'm not getting along very well so far with the Scarlet Chorus. Scroll sits here, glowing with mystical energy. Learn new spell core, Sigil of Illusion. Snigler Dagos. Upon noticing your approach, the merchant straightens his posture and smiles. What an honor! The name's Snigler Dagos, originally from the relative tranquility of the Northern Empire. I have since accepted a nomadic life for the sake of keeping Kairos' forces supplied with only the finest goods, local and imported. More than 10 people. It's a Class B misdemeanor. Holy shit. The force of law, huh? Dang. That's serious. Let me see your wares. He winces a little. It's not much, but let me know if you see anything that piques your interest. Oh, dude, we can come back to this. We're not going to do that right now. I don't even know what I would buy. These threadbare tents show signs of hard use and long-term exposure to the elements. So, the Scarlet Chorus is busy, are they? Traveling back and forth, using their tents here and there. These spears are brittle and rusted. Nevertheless, I will take it. The scent of piss and fecal matter emanate from this tent, one clearly not used for rest. Ew. What was it used for, then? Jesus. Baz. Well, well, well. Look who we have here. Chewing on some manner of cud, a heavy-set soldier flings spittle and crumbs as she talks. The Fate Binder finally shows herself. Reg says, Reg, I'm going to say. Reg. I'm Reg, the second soldier chimes in, and this is Baz. We were wondering when you might pay the camp a visit. The Fifth Eye has been a little starved for attention. He ordered us to, Boz says, to watch you like a troublesome babe. Make sure you don't get out of line. Boz knits her fingers together, joints crackling as she smiles. Yeah, that's what she did. Reg clears his throat loudly, scowling at Baz. Something like that. If you have questions, ask us. Good luck finding anyone else in camp who will give you answers or even a smile. Baz says, so, anything we can do for you? What do you know about Vendrian's Well? Baz says, the walls might seem imposing, but the Vendrian Guard do a better job of hiding its weaknesses than fixing them. She shrugs. We took the Citadel once before. We can take it again. Reg says, we have to, don't we? Reg looks up at the imposing tower of the spire. Though Kyrus knows I don't want to stay any longer than necessary. Missing the click there. That's weird. Or I'm drunk. Baz says, wait. She follows his gaze and shakes her head. You should know better than to parade your cowardice before the Fatebinder. Reg says, it's not cowardice. It's just superstition. You afraid of the spire? Sorry, Fatebinder, says Reg. I shouldn't have mentioned anything. He sighs. The fact of the matter is, we were told to stay away from the spires and old walls ever since we were babes. Of all the dumb childhood lessons that fell by the wayside, that one stayed the same. Baz says, imagine a soldier of the chorus pissing himself over architecture. Reg says, more like what's underneath it. Reg frowns. Bane lurks around those old sites. Kill anything that can catch unawares. They can catch unawares. I have no wish to meet the Bane in combat unless there are 100 blood chanters at my back. Baz twists her lips into a frown as she considers this. Me neither, I suppose. Can you tell me about the Fifth Eye? Reg trades an uncomfortable glance with Baz and lowers his voice to a whisper. They say he shares a direct link with the voices of Narat. Guard your tongue around him. He's a little... Baz says, wild, bloodthirsty, mad. Baz thinks for a moment. Brilliant. Reg flinches and glances over his shoulder. I was going to say eccentric. The chorus isn't picky about who joins the ranks, so you can expect to find some unusual types. Most are as likely to kill you as to promote you. Your time in the Scarlet Chorus? Baz says, Reg and I were conscripted at the Gates of Judgment. He used to fight for Okon, me for Azur. Baz chuckles, sketching her chin in thought. Sketching, I never heard that verb before, apart from, drawing. How many fights we survived so far? Reg says, 11? Reg begins to count in series across his fingers. No, 14. I count each day in sunder separately. Baz says, the chorus is... Baz looks around about the camp and shrugs. Not as bad as it smells. The strong, like me and Reg, we are allowed to take what we want, what we deserve. We live only as well as our strength affords us, as it should be. Tell me about yourself, Baz. Baz says, I was a sellsword at the beck and call of fat merchants, just another dented face in the crowd. After too many years of spilling blood in local skirmishes, I realized that I was only killing time. Then Kairos showed me a better way. Unity. Purpose. Now I fight for something, not just someone. Been watching the Scarlet Furies, practicing my blade work. Not good enough to join them yet, but I bet I could show you a thing or two. Scarlet Furies, I think, is what verse is, right? Tell me about yourself, Reg. He scratches the back of his head at a loss for words. I had a family, a farm. Then the chorus came and, well, now I have the chorus. Priorities change when you hear screams in the night and feel a blade pressed to your neck. Things like farms or families don't seem as important. I used to have nightmares thinking about the culling. The Scarlet Chorus conscripts a village. They hold a ceremony known as the culling. Every able-bodied man, woman, and child is given a weapon and forced to fight their family and friends to the death. Those who survive are deemed strong enough and free from old ties to join the army of the voices of Narat. Jesus Christ. That sounds awful. Just thinking to myself, like, if it was me versus my kids, right? It was like, hey, fight to the death. Whichever one of you dies, the other one has to join the army. This horrible, abusive army. My first impression would be, okay, I'll just die. I'll just here, come stab me, son, and I will just die, and then you will live. But them living in this army sounds awful. It might actually be the merciful thing to just kill them. That sounds terrible. Ugh. Felt awful, says Reg, remembering how I hacked my mom and dad to bits just so I could survive. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, if it was like a situation where it's like, hey, you know what, if you kill me, you get to go free, sure. But if it's like, you kill me and then you have to be a member of this abusive gang, might be doing you a favor by just killing you, son. Sorry. Walter. Baz, what can you teach me? Let's dance, Binder. You know what? I'm gonna pass. Actually, I don't really have much money right now. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Should we go talk to this prisoner? Filthy mongrels. Lantry. Let's deal with Variah before we let that sage speak, says the fifth eye. Alright, Variah then. Variah Kell says, please, someone, I wish to bow before the voices of Narat. I thought all could find redemption in the chorus. The woman in the makeshift armor of the Vendrian Guard lurches forward in agony. Her soiled, trembling legs suggest she's been forced to stand for days. This sounds awful. Fifth Eye says, this one, he flippantly waves at the prisoner, was hollering earlier that she knows the location of the Vendrian Guard encampment, but she isn't being entirely honest. Variah Kell says, I told this thing. The prisoner turns pale a moment before a look of determination comes over her face. That I wanted a guarantee I'd live and be welcomed into the chorus as a captain. Then I'll talk. Otherwise, they'll just kill me once I've opened up. I was dumb enough to join with the Vendrian Guard. I'm not dumb enough to give away my bargaining bronze. Tell me what you know and I can see to release. You claim you would disavow your people for the Scarlet Chorus. Why the change of heart? Why should I trust the words of... Yeah, okay, the second one. Why the change of heart? She says, because I want to live, and you don't need to be the Archon of Premonitions to know that the younger realms are gone for good. She blinks several times, catching her breath. Kairos is the new great strength of the Tears, and I would rather stand with his Archons than be crushed by them. Why should we trust the words of an Oathbreaker? She says, I suppose I have no answer for that. Variah's eyes fall to the ground and she swallows nervously. When I joined with the Vendrian Guard, I accepted their broken vow unto myself. Have you not felt passion for a foolish cause, when you later came to regret? Well, my surrender is sincere, and I'm willing to bow before the voices of Narat to prove it. Tell me what you know, Variah Kell, and I'll see to your release. She says, I heard the chorus is looking for Captain Pelax Florian and his crew. I can lead you to them, but only if you release me. She turns her head, taking a long look at skewered and smoldering corpses around her. She tugs at her restraints, but to no avail. Athletics. Subterfuge. Or we could threaten her with the voices of Narat. Athletics, we raise our voice and say, start talking now. Subterfuge, we say, you're lying. Why don't you tell me what you actually know, and I'll see about saving you. Or we could have the voices of Narat extract what you know from your mind. I think we try to be diplomatic about this, right? That's our character. She's a diplomat, naturally. Why don't you tell me what you actually know and I'll see about saving you. Vraikel says, well, You see, shaken by your demand, her lips move wordlessly for several seconds. So I don't know exactly where the rest of my crew is, but I can tell you. She shakes her head, catching her breath. Search that one. She reaches up with her right leg and points with her foot, calling attention to a nearby pile of corpses. The tall, dark one, missing most of his face. Check his left boot. He was the literate one in our crew. He had the orders. Fifth Eye. With a snap of his fingers, a pair of choirmen yank the boot off the fallen guardsman. A rolled parchment slides out of the boot and is thrust into the Fifth Eye's hands. He unfurls the scroll to give it a read. It's nonsense, just a mash of words. Laughter erupts from under the mask. She said she had information. She gives us garbage. Slay this wretch for wasting our time. He snaps his fingers at a nearby Scarlet Fury, who promptly snatches the long knife from her belt. Let's call him out. I heard her say she'd swear fealty to the voices of Nerat. An initiation rite would be in order. Uh-oh. They don't like me very much. The Fifth Eye says, seeing as you are an expert on the subject of fate, I will entertain your wisdom on the matter. What then would you propose we do with her? We test her loyalty, send her back as our agent. When the time comes, she will aid us, or we will track down her kin. Racing a good slave, work until she's broken. No, she seems more valuable than a slave. Send her back as our agent. That's tempting, but presumably she could double cross us, and there's not much we can do about that. I think actually this is the most evil. Test her loyalty. Varaya, kill these guardsmen with something blunt. Varaya looks at the prisoners, once her allies, and closes her eyes as her bonds are untied. The onlookers snicker and cheer when a heavy rock is placed in her hand. Mouthing something inaudible, she lifts the rock higher above her head and smashes it down on the prisoner's skull, wincing back a scream as she hoists the stone over her head a second time and finish the job on the other prisoner. The bloody rock hits the ground and Varaya slumps to her knees in defeat a moment later. This is an ugly-ass game. Goddamn. Good. Good, says the Fifth Eye. He places his bloodied hand on the trembling woman's shoulder and nods to her. Welcome to the Scarlet Chorus. Do not fail us. As a pair of soldiers come to lift Varaya, the Fifth Eye turns to you, his voice filled with glee. Where is a sleeve to clean up the offal when you need it? Fifth Eye says, we're no closer to finding the Oathbreaker's position. Not with this cryptic mess. She promised us answers, and all she gave us was gibberish.
Sorry to interrupt, but I highly doubt it's gibberish. More likely, it's one of the local scripts.
The fuck are you? The voice comes from another prisoner, tied up next to Varaya, an older gentleman with the quills, ink vials, and parchment scrolls one finds on the sages of the School of Ink and Quill. Ink smudges over his cheeks, temples, and ears. His clothes appear charred, and between the rips of the fabric you spot burned scars along his arms. Despite being emaciated and tied to a post, he offers a beaming smile. Can you read this?
Well, let me see. I can't.
You hold the parchment in front of the bound sage, and his eyes dart down the length of the missive. He reads the words a second time, nodding in silence.
I don't know exactly what it says, but I'm half certain that's Sage Selwyn's handwriting. I'm sure I could decipher that in a few hours' time. Don't need my hands free, but I think better when not tied to a post. I know, I'm weird that way.
Fifth Eye says, a few hours. Either you can read it or you cannot. What use is a sage that doesn't know his letters? I've heard all I need to hear. I say we have some fun with this one. Listen, dude, your life depends on you translating the scroll now.
I would love to help. I just need some time. That's written in another sage's shorthand. I'd have to sit down with it, or better yet, compare it to a piece of his writing I have stashed on me somewhere. If I sat down with it while sufficiently sober, it's highly probable I'd figure it out.
You're drunk? Let me just say, this dude sounds very much like Garrus Vicarian's voice.
Sober? Since when do we share the good stuff with the prisoners?
Oh, nobody shared. Right before I was taken prisoner, I imbibed several vials of reagents. I wanted to be numb and disconnected when my captors used me for carnal catharsis. It's made these last few days tied to a post almost enjoyable.
God. Alright, it can't hurt to give him a few hours. Fifth Eye says, you read the edict. I don't need to tell you the sundial is working against us. This addled old bag is just trying to stall us. Oh, I would think the voices of Nerat will be upset to know you squandered a source of enemy intelligence. Fifth Eye says, how true. Then we shan't put him to waste. He will serve as a most riveting source of amusement as we put him on trial.
Fatebinder, I beseech you, be my advocate for this trial. I'm no fool. I know the chorus uses blood, not words, to settle these matters. But you are a servant of the Archon of Justice, are you not?
Indeed. I'll be his champion. This one needs to live. Yeah. I'm taking him into my custody. Yeah, I'm taking him into my custody. He might have useful information. Not a chance, says the Fifth Eye. He's our prisoner. If you think you can crack the information we need out of his skull without troubling the Archon, that's one thing. But if you're not walking out of here with our property. Did you just tell me no? True, but by Kairos' law, he could swear fealty to me and become my sworn vassal, my property. Let's try that one.
A most clever technicality. And I would happily serve the Archon of Justice's warrior. Especially if it means getting out of this mess without a perforated lung.
Fifth Eye says, silence, old man. Good luck bowing to the Fatebinder with your head pulled from your neck. Fifth Eye jabs a finger at you. The chorus earned this prisoner right and proper. If you wish to rob from me, go ahead, but all will know you are the sort of Fatebinder. Just take as you please. If it's a fight you want, let's just challenge. Stare this guy down. Fifth Eye says, did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Raising his arms to the sky, the Fifth Eye roars for all nearby to hear. Trial by combat is upon us. The sage is unbound from the post. Stiff legs nearly buckle as he attempts to walk, and his arms flex and flail in their new freedom. Wiping sweat and grime from his brow, the sage steps close to you with a nervous smile. Rhythmic roaring and the stomping of hundreds of feet in unison flood the camp. Hordemen begin to circle and swirl about, brandishing weapons and cheering. Barrick says, if they got this worked up to fight the enemy, I venture the war would be over by now. Fifth Eye says, begin the chant of gathering. Let the warriors know that tonight's entertainment will soon commence. Shit, what did I do? Fifth Eye says, brothers and sisters, who amongst you sets the standard for strength? Who amongst you will help winnow the weak from the strong? Fifth Eye waves his hands in the air, drawing in a gathering of chorus soldiers. Our claimants have been assembled. Now let the trial of the Oathbreaker begin.
Heads up, we have company!
Holy shit! Okay. He's on our team. What can he do? Restoring touch. Channel healing energy into the target, restoring health instantly. Can do Titan's touch. quicken and heals the Fatebinder with a surge of restorative energy. Burst of energy is so invigorating, the Fatebinder is also hastened for a lasting duration. Renewal, he apparently just used it. Lantry restores the party's weapons and armor to pristine condition, increases the damage from weapons and protection from armor. And Quill Strike. So it's 4 on 4, it looks like. Okay, let's just go with that for now. Holy shit, Verse is almost dead. Do that.
They won't even get close.
Verse is still almost dead. That's not gonna help us. So we only have 3 opponents now, though, instead of 4. Heal Verse. Yeah! Alright, dude. Okay, wait, now you need to heal yourself. Wait, drink that.
None stand in our way!
Dude, we got her! I think we got it! They are hitting hard, but I think we got it! Okay, hang on, dude, hang on.
Take that!
There we go. Fifth Eye says, by the righteous shedding of blood we have found our answer. Regrettably, it appears the sage is worthy of leaving our camp alive. Fifth Eye offers a short, mocking bow to Lantry. By the customs set forth by the voices of Narat, you are free to go, old man. Brag to your grandkids that you fell afoul of the chorus, yet lived to tell the story. The old man, are you hurt? No, we don't give a shit. Glare silently at the Fifth Eye. We're kind of pissed at him. This is crazy. Lantry says, I thought I'd die, tied to that post. The sage looks down at his rope-worn wrists in disbelief. Now, hand me that parchment. I'm certain I can decipher it. He says, well, much of the parchment was weathered, but I could make out the important parts of the text. The note makes mention of a meeting spot west of Tripnettle. Fifth Eye says, so the old sage knows his words after all. I'd ask that you travel ahead and see if you can't get this Captain Florian to yield to the chorus. They will strike at first sight of a chorus gang, but perhaps they will parley if yours is the first face they see. Lantry says, I know the area, and I suggest we go at once. I'll show you the way. I'm eager to be far from the stench of this camp. You're offering to come with me? Why? He says, because the alternative is... what? Living here with these illiterate brutes? My old study is under a river of fire, and there's no family missing me. Besides, I'd much rather chronicle the binder that's twice proclaimed an edict of Kairos. I'd be a fool to let someone else write your story. Something is amiss. I'm going to be suspicious. There's a lot of fight in you for an old scholar. Now you're offering to join this expedition. Verse says, I've met sages every bit as cutthroat as hardened gang bosses. They act the part of doddering scribes, but don't let that fool you. Lantry says, smart for someone your age to be so mistrusting. But I'm not with the Oathbreakers, if that's what you're fishing at. I worked for them under duress, but I've no love of them. I'm not about to pledge to the chorus, and the disfavored wouldn't have me. Still, I consider myself a Kairos-fearing vassal of the Overlord's empire all the same. For as long as I've been a sage, I've been trained to defend myself. We don't spend all our time binding books and sketching wildlife, just most of it. Okay. For centuries, we've been in a quiet war with the School of Tides and the School of Wild Wrath. You can't travel alone as much as I do and not know the bronze stance. Glare silently. Violin glares silently. Introductions might be in order. My apologies, he says. Guess we skipped past that part. I'm Sage Lantry, formerly of the Vellum Citadel, and now of, well, of nowhere, I guess. The Vellum Citadel was a library fortress, the largest archive of the written word in the Tiers. The School of Ink and Quill protected and maintained the archive of ancient lore for centuries, standing apart from the political upheavals of the younger realms as an enduring pillar of knowledge and culture. How about you just tell me where it is? I don't need you tagging along. No. Swear fealty to me, and I will let you leave this place with me. Fear with Lantry. If that is your price, he says, I will pay it. I, Sage Lantry of the School of Ink and Quill, do pledge my services and skein to the Fatebinder, and by extension to the Court of Tunan. He dips into a steep bow before rising with a solemn smile. I know I may seem old and frail, but I know how to step lightly and how not to get killed, really. I won't slow you down. Lead the way, and let me know if I can be of service. Verse says, are we done here? Let's hightail it to Tripnettle. If your new pet doesn't behave himself along the way, I'm not above clipping his ears. Okay, we have more exploration to do here in the camp before we leave. But we'll save that for next time. We got some levels up. We got some talking to do here with Lantry, and I think we have more to do with Verse, and even some to do with Barrick. All kinds of learning we have yet to do. But like I said, we'll do that next time. So, hey, everybody that's hanging out with me in the chat this evening, thanks for doing it. It's been fun. Everybody stay healthy. Don't take this thing lightly. It's going to get worse before it gets better. If they're telling you to stay home, stay home. Walter, I hope everything goes well with earthquake recovery and everyone you know and care about is safe. And I hope you guys are able to join me next week. Hey, you know what? If by Thursday next week I'm working from home, all bets are off. Maybe I'll be streaming during the day. Who knows what'll happen? This thing could get crazy. But I appreciate you guys being here with me this evening. I appreciate anybody on YouTube catching up after the fact. And I hope everyone, yes, exactly right. Stay safe and stay healthy.